When you think about European transport infrastructure, you probably picture the Channel Tunnel, France's TGV, or Germany's Autobahn. But while most of the continent is stuck with aging infrastructure, a new era is quietly taking shape under the Alps. The Lyon-Turin rail line, with the 57.5-kilometer Mont Cenis Base Tunnel, set to become the longest rail tunnel in the world. In this video, we're going to unpack this giant project and answer a simple question. How do you drill a train tunnel straight through the foot of the Alps, and who really benefits from it? Stick around till the end, and you'll see why this tunnel doesn't just shorten the trip between France and Italy. It's quietly redrawing the economic and logistics map of all of Europe. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, Europe was the symbol of bold transport projects. Railways cutting through mountains, suspension bridges over deep valleys, bustling seaports, night trains cross borders with people and freight. Decades of growth pulled millions out of poverty and built a belief that for European engineers, no terrain was impossible. But in the 21st century, that picture isn't so bright anymore. Infrastructure is aging. Highways are clogged with trucks. Logistics costs keep climbing. Old rail lines are vulnerable to landslides. At the same time, every new project carries the weight of CO2 reduction targets. Between Lyon in France and Turin in Italy, the Alps are like a giant wall of rock. It's a 4-hour drive, almost 4 hours by train, and 92% of goods still travel by truck. Slower, dirtier, and fragile in the face of natural disasters. In that context, France, Italy, and the European Union chose a different path. Instead of patching up a 19th century rail line that's already past its lifespan, they decided to build an entirely new layer of infrastructure through the mountains from scratch, at a speed and scale the whole world is watching. In one of the most challenging Alpine valleys, where quiet towns were once almost cut off by mountains, a new giant has appeared. The Lyon-Turin high-speed rail line with the Mont Cenis Base Tunnel. The full route is about 270 kilometers long, around 168 miles, directly linking Lyon and Turin. The Mont Cenis Base Tunnel itself is 57.5 kilometers long, about 35.7 miles, running straight under the Alps with 2 parallel tubes so trains can run in both directions. Construction will stretch over several decades, with the tunnel expected to open around 2033. Total cost is estimated at 25 billion euros, with nearly half coming from European Union funding. Before this project, the Lyon-Turin corridor was stuck. The old rail line was winding, steep, and prone to landslides, like the 2023 slide that shut the route for more than a year and a half. The roads were packed with trucks, transport costs were high, travel times were long, and emissions were huge. Now, with about 1 hour and 47 minutes on a train, a journey that used to take nearly 4 hours will be cut almost in half, and a quiet mountain region is turning into a strategic logistics gateway linking Eastern and Western Europe. On paper, building a rail tunnel sounds simple. Dig a tube through the mountain, line it with concrete, lay the tracks, run the trains. But to do that under hundreds of meters of hard alpine rock, engineers had to split the project into many different construction stages. In fractured rock and loose ground, they use a classic method: drill and blast. Dozens of holes are drilled in a ring pattern into the rock face, packed with explosives and detonated. Trucks roll in to haul hundreds of cubic meters of broken rock out. Right behind the tunnel face, workers install steel ribs, mesh, and shotcrete, sprayed concrete, to freeze the unstable rock around the opening. Once the tunnel is stable enough, a huge moving scaffold, basically a mobile mold, slowly slides forward. It lays waterproof membranes, installs steel rebar cages, and pours concrete in 10-meter sections. Day after day, they pour 10 meters of lining, 5 days a week, just on a single 3-kilometer section on the French side. And that's just the warm-up. Roughly 3/4 of the tunnel's length is handed over to massive TBMs, tunnel boring machines. One of them is named Viviana. Its cutter head is over 10 meters in diameter and weighs about 2,000 tons. Up front, a rotating shield with 61 cutting discs grinds the rock as the machine pushes forward. Behind it, an entire mobile factory, conveyor belts to move spoil out, robots placing precast concrete segments to form the tunnel lining, technical modules bringing in power, water, and ventilation for the whole system. In total, the TBMs will install around 100,000 concrete segments, with 8 segments forming each full ring of the tunnel. More than half of the excavated rock will be reused right inside the project. Some is crushed into aggregate for concrete. The rest is used to build rail beds, new stations, and supporting structures. Along the 2 main tunnel tubes, every 333 meters, there's a small cross passage linking them. These are escape routes in case of an incident, access paths for maintenance crews, and backup safety corridors to protect the thousands of passengers who will travel through here every day in the future. To cut down geological risks, construction teams spent years digging exploratory tunnels, crossing more than 80 different geological zones, from soft sediments near the portals to ancient rock as hard as steel deep inside the Alps. In some places, they had to dig vertical shafts hundreds of meters deep from the surface down to the tunnel, using raised boring machines to create ventilation chimneys. Those giant breathing tubes pump fresh air tens of kilometers into the mountain, making sure both workers today and passengers tomorrow can breathe safely. In pure economic terms, the Mont Cenis Base Tunnel and the Lyon-Turin line will save millions of hours of travel time every year as journeys are cut nearly in half, slash fuel costs and logistics losses by pulling about 1 million trucks a year off the roads and onto rail, create tens of thousands of direct jobs during construction, plus many more indirect jobs in logistics, tourism, and services along the route. Socially, small towns that once only showed up in hiking guides, they are starting to catch the eye of investors. Warehouses, logistics centers, hotels, new neighborhoods, schools, and clinics begin to appear. Average incomes can rise, and young people don't necessarily have to leave home to look for work in far-off cities. On the geopolitical and regional competition side, the Lyon-Turin corridor puts France and Italy in a very different position on Europe's transport map. It becomes a key link in the Mediterranean corridor of the trans-European transport network, directly competing with northern routes in the race to attract cargo, capital, and supply chains. Of course, a project like this isn't just about bright construction lights. It also brings protests, lawsuits, and tough environmental questions. Many locals in Alpine valleys worry about noise, dust, and damage to the landscape, especially when, on paper, a Lyon-Turin rail line already existed. Supporters point to the long-term upside: lower emissions, fewer landslides, and stronger economies. Opponents ask whether 25 billion euros is really worth it, and who will foot the bill if things don't go as planned. From far away, the Lyon-Turin line and the Mont Cenis tunnel might look like just another infrastructure project. A few dozen kilometers of track, 2 tubes under a mountain, a couple of new stations. But up close, it's something else. It's a test of the vision of leaders in France, Italy, and the EU. It's a way to measure investor confidence in a greener future for European transport. And it's a mirror reflecting how serious an entire continent really is about the sustainability goals it set for itself. This used to be a mountain range that people treated as an impossible natural barrier. Now Europe is turning the Alps into a statement. No terrain's too hard, only vision that doesn't reach far enough and willpower that doesn't last long enough. From the Mont Cenis Base Tunnel to the highways, ports, and logistics hubs rising around it, all these pieces are forming a new picture. A Europe that isn't just patching old roads, but trying to rewrite the rules of global transport in the age of decarbonization. So what shocks you the most? The sheer scale of the project, the tunneling technology, or the willingness to spend tens of billions of euros just to cut a few hours off a journey? If you found this video interesting, Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next mega project story.